find her misplaced magic gown, and go away. Seated next to her as a child, Kazantzakis would dream of being simultaneously a hero and a saint. The crushing of the 1889 anti-Ottoman Greek rebellion on Crete resulted in the Kazantzakis family decamping to Piraeus for 6 months, until a fragile peace returned to the island. A few years later, in 1897, the next war on Crete, the one which eventually led to the creation of an independent Cretan state, led to 15-year-old Kazantzakis being sent off for 2 very formative years to the Aegean island of Naxos as a high school student at the French Commercial School of the Holy Cross, a Catholic school run by Franciscan monks. This led to the second great contrast in Kazantzakis' life. On the one side lay Crete, the Orient, tradition, chreos, remember debt or duty. On the other lay Europe, the West, a new world, desire. Because Kazantzakis was an exceptionally good student and quickly learned French and Italian at that Catholic school, a cardinal there convinced him to convert to Catholicism so as to study at the Vatican. However, when Captain Michalis found out that his spiritually inclined son was about to become a Catholic, na frangepsi, as we say in Greek, showed up one night at the school on Naxos, picked up his son, and threatened the monks that he would burn down their establishment. So, our author finished his high school studies back at Heraklion. The island of Crete now, around the turn of the century, had become a resurgent, independent, multi-ethnic state under Greek and Western control. Heraklion was growing, trying to accommodate Christian Cretans, Jews, Muslim Cretans, citizens from the rest of Greece, merchants, ship owners, self-styled politicians, and old warriors from the mountains of Crete. This was certainly a heady mix that presented the late teenage Kazantzakis with what became a recurring theme in his life. Encounter of new contrasts, resultant philosophical doubts, and, to cap it off, amorous affairs, the first of which was at Heraklion at the age of 19 with his Irish teacher of English language and literature, Kathleen Ford. Kazantzakis' brief affair with his English teacher ended when he left for Athens in the fall of 1902 to study law at the University of Athens. Still an exceptional student, he graduated with highest honors in late 1905. In parallel with his studies, though, he immersed himself into the cultural scene of Athens, and in 1905, his translations of French and Italian authors began appearing in Athenian magazines, while his first novel, Ophis και Κρίνο, Serpent and Lily, inspired by his affair with Kathleen Ford, was published under the nickname Karma Nirvami, a nickname that echoes his emerging interest in Eastern religions. Serpent and Lily. It was not a traditional novel at all. It was a remarkable, albeit youthful philosophical pursuit in the form of a story of a young painter, worshipper of lust and beauty, who enjoys what life offers him and who gradually becomes dominated by the idea of death. Deciding that death and life are connected with beauty and erotic love, he brings his girlfriend into a closed room immensely filled with fresh flowers for a night of lovemaking. Finally, in the morning, they are discovered asphyxiated. None other than the patriarch of Greek letters at the time, the poet Kostis Palamas, writing also with an alias at the magazine Panathenea in early 1906, weighed in with the following incisive and prophetic remarks about Serpent and Lily and its 23-year-old creator.
Είναι μαζί ιστορία και ποίημα. Η ιστορία εκτελείστος ένας μονότροπος, μονόλογος, μέσα στα σελίδα του ημερολογίου του καλλιτέχνου. Το ποίημα είναι χυμένων φανταρχού. Είναι ανανικών και νοσηρών και ωραίων και θανάσιμων. Συμπλέκουν αστόχαστα, ομού και βαθύγνωμα, πας εκστάσεις του μυστικισμού με του πριαπισμού τη Λύσα, εικόν ενός σατήρου και μιας ψυχής, η σύμπλεγμα διάρρηκτων, εφιάλτης και παραλήρημα, πάθος και κελάδιμα. Έργων ενθυμίζουν όλη την ηθική αντινομία του αθλίου ανθρώπου, φυλακή, μέσα στην οποία αλληλοσπαράσσονται αδιάκοπα η σάρξ και το πνεύμα. Αλλά εν ταύτο, ελπίζω ότι ο όφης αυτός το δολερός και το κρίνον αυτό δεν είναι παρά επρότε εκδηλώσεις της ευαισθησίας νεαρού λογοτέχνου, ώστε με τον καιρό θα δημιουργήσει έργα ωραία και υγιή, ομούς συγκινούντα και ευεργετούντα, ανυψώνοντα και καθαρίζοντα την ψυχή, ως είναι τα γεννήματα της αρτείας και ιδεώδους τέχνης.
So, even though Serpent and Lily is not as well known as Kazantzakis' novels from the 40s and 50s, in recent years this work has developed a cult following. That's why we're talking about it. And it has been translated into 10 languages that show the global spread of interest in Kazantzakis. English and French, Hebrew and Arabic, Spanish and Portuguese, Albanian, Bulgarian, and Romanian, as well as the South Indian language Malayalam. During this same time, our author fell in love with Galatia Alexiou, the daughter of a prominent publisher from Heraklion and an important writer in her own right, who eventually became his first wife in 1911. However, their affair did not prevent him from moving on his own to Paris in 1907 so as to pursue his doctoral dissertation at the Collège de France, which he completed in 1909. Paris was formative for Kazantzakis' philosophy. Εδώ η ζωή είναι αλλιώτικη. Life is different here. He wrote back to his mother and sisters. The legacy of his Paris stay was his intense exposure and study of two major philosophical figures of the time, the French Henri Bergson and the German Friedrich Nietzsche. A polymath of Polish-Jewish descent, Bergson was particularly influential due to his arguments that processes of immediate experience and intuition are more significant than abstract rationalism and science for understanding reality. Those were expounded through Bergson's three major works, Time and Free Will, Matter and Memory, and Creative Evolution. Bergson informed Kazantzakis' worldview as our author developed his personal perspectives of cultures and peoples in his subsequent many travels. The other figure, Nietzsche, became the subject of Kazantzakis' doctoral thesis, which was on Nietzsche's philosophy regarding law and the state. With that thesis as a starting point, Nietzsche eventually turned into one of the springboards of Kazantzakis' own philosophy 15 years later. With his studies completed and full of energy and enthusiasm, our author traveled through Italy and returned to Greece, where he settled in Athens with Galatia in 1910 and married her, as we saw, shortly thereafter. He channeled his energy through multiple activities. One of those activities was the writing of a tragedy, Thessia, Sacrifice, based on the old folk tale of the sacrifice of Smaragda, the secret lover of the master builder who was constructing the bridge at the town of Arta, so that his life could be spared and the bridge could be completed. The play got the first prize at the drama contest, and a few years later, renamed Protomastoras, Master Builder, it was set to music as an opera by none other than the Smyrniot Manolis Kalamarides, the most important classical music composer of modern Greece. It can be characterized as the cornerstone of the many theatrical plays Kazantzakis wrote over the years. Here's a short sample from that opera, from a 1944 recording in Athens with 21-year-old Maria Callas in the role of Smaragda, the master builder's tragic lover.